Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and hello everyone. This is Miss Ansari, and today I am reading one of the most famous book by Rithvik Singh. That is I Don't Love You Anymore. So let's begin. Bismillah. This book will make you feel too many things all at once, just like life does sometimes. Dear reader, I love you, and I hope you love yourself enough to leave anyone who breaks your heart. Your heart was meant to be worshipped, not turned into a love war zone. I hope this book feels like a warm hug to you. I wrote this book for the ones who feel everything too deeply. You are right. I wrote this book for you. If you ever knew someone who loved you enough to be terrified of losing you, I hope you know it's rare to find someone like that. Someone who would leave flowers on your dining table, kisses on your forehead, and the scent of love in your heart. Someone who would gently hold the pieces of your heart on the days when life gets too hard. If you ever knew someone who loved you the way the sky loves the stars, I hope you didn't end up breaking their heart. And if you did, I hope life break your heart too. There are forests of feelings inside you. May you find someone who knows how to water your soil, someone who not only notices your absence but also hears it, someone who never lets you question if there's something fundamentally wrong with you, if you deserve to be loved. Someone who loves you as if that's what they were made for, loving you with all their heart. Someone who makes you fall in love with the days you didn't even think you'd live to see. Someone who never lets you give up on yourself by giving you all the love you deserve. There is a dying patient who has fallen in love with life, an orphan who thinks his parents are still alive, a soldier wife waiting for a letter from her husband who died, a wilted flower waiting for spring to arrive. We are all so different but so alike, wanting things we cannot get, praying to God who refuses to listen. Your heart is a crime scene. There are old letters stacked on the cells. The place reeks of memories. There's blood in every corner, but there's also love. So much love. More often than not, the person you wouldn't mind burning cities for is the same person who wouldn't mind leaving you in the fire. You wouldn't mind taking your life for someone who wouldn't stop taking you for granted. My heart is monastery in the land of atheists. Prayers don't make sense to them, but all my prayers aren't for them anyway. They are always been for you, only you. It takes years to let go, they say. But how many years? How many years before I finally make coffee in the morning and not add extra sugar to it because you liked it that way? When will I go to the mall and not spend an hour at the bookstore because you loved books more than you loved me? When will I stop taking pictures of the sky as it changes colors and saving them to a folder I wish I could send you? When will I start loving roses more than sunflower? When will I stop letting my life be yours, knowing you are not mine anymore? It's not the same for everyone. You see, it took you a few seconds to let go, but it's taking me a lifetime. The flowers you gave me are kept between the pages of books I have loved all my life. I pretend not to love you anymore, but catch myself opening those books every once in a while. They treat you like a room they visit on random days. You don't have to lose yourself for someone whose love comes in waves. Some people are like songs stuck in your head. You miss them like you hum that song unknowingly but constantly. You don't remember the lyrics, but you don't know them well either. All you know is that you cannot get them out of your head. Without me, you will never run out of mouths to kiss. You will always run out of love. Always. Honeybees would be jealous if you have got a voice so sweet. There are flowers in our irises that bloom every time we meet. May your grief leave you with empathy, enough to make kindness your home, come what may. You are not the kind of flower that can be plucked and put in someone's hair. You are the kind of flower people find too pretty to pluck, the kind of flower that deserves to keep blooming. We are in a pastry shop, and your voice is the sweetest thing there. There are mulberry trees outside, but I cannot shift focus from your eyes. Love is overflowing inside you. I see it shining through your eyes. Sometimes loving someone feels like an autumn that refuses to leave. That's when you know it's time to let go. You are a letter of hope in a concentration camp, a solitary flower in a barren land. There are poems stitched in your soul. Flowers blush when you touch them. I have been told. You are everything magic in the world, too ordinary, the kind of person people write novels about. I will always be a stranger to what goes on in your heart. I will always keep wondering if there is a room for me in it. It's no less than magic, you say. What your presence does to me. Things are hard with people who don't love you hard, people whose love isn't the ocean but its waves, the ones who always leave you confused. They don't tell you that they love you, but they also don't accept that they don't. They hold your hand but refuses to hold your heart. They lend you a space in their heart but they don't let you stay in it. There are people who will come back to you only after the world has pushed them away, and there will be someone waiting with flowers at your doorstep despite hundreds of voices around them begging them to stay. Choose wisely. You are at the airport, hugging them goodbye. You knew it would hurt, but it hurt a lot less than you had imagined it. Each step is taking them away from you. You have left your fragrance in the scarf they are wearing in their hands which you wouldn't be holding for a long, long time, behind their ear where you blew them kisses, in that blue sword they wore way too often because you loved it. There is so much of you they are taking away with them, but you cannot go with them. You want them to stay, but you feel like a bird with feet trapped in wires. There is more sadness in you than the morning paper. You love them too much to let them go. May your healing turn you into a river after rain. I run out of words when you are around, it's true. I write for a living, but I live for you. I remember everything about you, but nothing that I loved you for. I remember you laughing after seeing me in pain, hanging up calls, and smashing the door in my face, throwing hot tea at me, watching me sit in a corner, drenched in anxiety. I remember you sleeping in my arms and talking about someone else, taking me to the movies and using a dating app while holding my hand. Trust me, I have a hard time letting go of people, even after they show me they don't want me anymore. But my heart remembers everything you did to me, all because I loved you, all because I believed, for once, someone wouldn't choose to break my heart. But it's been long since I have been sad, months since I have cried on the bathroom floor. Trust me, I'm glad I don't love you anymore. There is a little sadness in your heart when you hang up the phone after talking to them for hours. You hug them for a few more minutes at the metro station before saying goodbye. You spend 10 days with them but cannot stop wishing for an 11th. You are in love with them. The way they move their eyebrows in the mid conversation, the way they crock teeth make the most beautiful smile, the way they laugh for hours about the silliest joke, and the way their eyes widen and shine when they see your face. Never let them go, okay? There are poems I have written about being in love, and poems I have written about being in pain. It's strange how they all read exactly the same. Love for you has always been a person. It's tragic how that person has never been you. I watched 9 episodes of a show in one day but keep postponing the last one. When things change, when fat changes, I avoid watching it. I try not to make it to the end. I bury my curiosity and start another show. I go out and meet a friend. I do everything I can to not let the show in, but I know I have got to face the ending, no matter how much it terrifies me or how far I try to run away from it. I know the show has already ended. I know the ending won't change. This is not about shows. I'm not the kind of person who wishes good for the people who have wronged me. My mother spoke to you with flowers in her mouth, but your words were thorns that pierced her heart. You don't deserve to be happy. I held you on the days when even the sun refused to bring you light, but you abused my kindness and left me alone that night. I hate what you did to my heart. When I needed you the most, you left me alone with my fears and ghosts. I'm sorry, but I am not angelic enough to mind seeing you in pain. This is what you deserve. This is all you have gained. Love. It's in having tea at midnight with someone who is used to be sleeping at night, only to give you them company. In forgetting the distance between cities and crossing it with a smile on your face, only to put a smile on the face of the person you love, seeing a flower shop immediately getting a view for someone, sitting on video calls at night and not talking to each other because you are both tired, but never being too tired to make some time for each other. Holding hands in busy streets and holding them tight at the end of the busy week. It's in refusing to let someone change your feelings, in ensuring that love never leaves. You are at a hill station and there's too much fog to see the sun, but that doesn't make the place any less beautiful. Just because your path is unclear doesn't mean that light doesn't exist. It doesn't mean the journey isn't beautiful or worth it. Your heart becomes the heaviest thing to carry when it's overflowing with love for someone who always leaves you feeling unworthy of love. Your eyes tell me what he is doing to your heart. There were sunflowers in them the last time I saw you, and now they are all wilting apart. Someone who has been loved by grief all his life will, of course, fall in love with the person who makes him smile. Because you can grow roses in the backyards of mansions full of empty people with ease. But it is special when the floor breaks the last flower in the garden and someone picks it up, pours it in a vase filled with water, and looks at it with affection. The flower doesn't survive, but at least it feels loved again. You ask me if I have ever been loved before, and I will tell you I have loved and I have been left. Nobody has ever stayed long enough to ask me this question. I detest your presence. I am too scared of what your absence might do to me. I will always be the first one to open my arms for you, and the last one you will choose to hug. I have been clumsier than ever since the day we met. I am carefree now, knowing I have found someone who is careful with my heart. And when you are tired, don't think twice before falling into my arms. I am tired too. But I will never run out of love for you. You would forget to eat hard to good morning messages, disappear for hours without a reason, suddenly be mad at me in the mid conversation, go to sleep knowing I am anxious. I received the next day in the car with you quietly. You didn't ask me what happened, and I was too scared to tell you. I had to tell you I overthink a lot, and you ensured I never stopped. Your soul will turn into a shooting star. Every inch of your being will shine for them. I have been watering a rose plant for months now, and today I finally saw a rose in it. But for you, I had to pluck my favorite flower, break its petal, and arrange them to write your name. For you, I didn't mind breaking things, be it a flower, be it my heart. My past selves are buried inside me. They cry to resurrect when I try to give love another chance. You are so used to apologizing to people and begging them to stay that when someone apologizes to you for hurting your feelings, you have no idea what to say. Tragic how your feelings have never mattered to anyone before, how people have always found it easier to walk away. Your absence has created cemeteries in my soul. There is so much of me that doesn't exist anymore. Our love is sinking ship in the middle of the ocean. If we must keep loving each other, life must stop loving us too. There is a perfume bottle in my room. My mom says it smells like autumn, but I know it smells like you. There are nights when I wish you could move your fingers through my hair and tell me about your day. I did wake up smelling just like you, but I know all your days are bright without me. I know you don't hold on to me in fragrance, among other things, the way I do. Your colors covers all the corners of my heart. There are shades of you in the way I talk. There is so much of you in the morning sky. How do you expect me to forget when you are synonyms with beauty for me? When everything beautiful is everything you are, when everything gorgeous will always remain a little less gorgeous than you. The truth is, you are everywhere around me and within me, even though you are not in love with me anymore. Your absence did so much to me, but it couldn't undo how I feel about you. I want to send you the poems that rip my heart apart and write you poems for when your heart gets too heavy. Turn your soul into a sunflower field and ensure you never run out of light. Love you on the days when life stops making sense and also on the days when it does. Hold you closer than the moon holds its sign. The ocean holds its depth, and temples hold statues of the divine. There are people who love you, but not in the way you love them. Their love is platonic. And when you fall in love with such people, they push you away instead of asking you to stay. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much, because they know how much your heart would break if you didn't walk away. Because they know your feelings aren't butterflies that will die in a few weeks. Thank them for teaching you how to save someone by not being there to save them, by letting go of them even if it breaks their heart, to save them for further damage while always wishing them well, but from a distance. Trust me, staying in touch with someone you have unrequired feelings for is the worst thing you can do into your heart. Nothing breaks heart quite like the silence of loved ones, a quiet declaration that they are tired of trying to love you for who you are. And when they refuse to choose you, choose distance, because staying won't make a difference. I know those feelings are precious, but my love, so is your heart. So is your heart. Loving someone shouldn't feel like a tug of war where you are always fighting for their attention. It shouldn't feel like a race you have to win, at the end of which lies the trophy of affection. It shouldn't feel like a sale at a store where there are too many people wanting the same portion you want. It shouldn't have to feel like a fight or war. You shouldn't have to constantly struggle to make space for yourself in their heart. If there are too many people that would rather be with than you. They don't deserve to be with you. Love is not a trophy you have to fight for, but a gift someone wants to give you every day without you having to ask them for it. You have the spirit of a bird. Falling doesn't stop you from flying, and that's what I love the most about you. You always keep trying. You can never teach your heart to be okay with saying goodbye. Losing them will make you cry, sometimes for a week at a stretch. It will make you lose a little faith in love and people, but losing them shouldn't make you give up and the magic of healing, of letting hope re enter your heart, of wanting to be okay again, of learning to live without them and smiling just the way you used to with them and before them. They will always matter to you, but you need to choose yourself for yourself and for the people you still matter to. When someone is breaking someone's heart, do they forget that the other person loves him? Do they not think about what they are doing to the person's heart? Does sleep not elude them, knowing someone's isn't okay because of them? Are they too used to breaking people's heart to care about how they are going to deal with it? They not have a heart. Do they have a heart? You are staying with them because you are scared of being heartbroken. But tell me, aren't they already breaking your heart every day? Writers think they are too powerful until they realize they can write poems all they want, but that person still won't feel the same way about them. Expressing your feelings is a superpower, you see, but sometimes your feeling can leave you feeling powerless too. Your life is a book of poems written in advance. You don't get to edit while you live. And some poems are like that. They tear your heart apart, but there are enough poems in the book to ensure you are okay at the end. I found you so much of me after you left. The shrinking of me was the cost of staying with you. Trust me, I've been feeling my feelings so freely since the day I stopped having feelings for you. My mother's smile is so beautiful. My father must hate that about her, for he never let her smile for too long. She buried her dreams to make a space for us to belong. I wonder how much pain lives within her. I wonder how she manages to stay with this strong. My heart is made of art. The poems may not make sense to you, but they will always make you feel something. Always. If you ever miss me, know that I have loved you in sentences and silences, prose and poetry, thunderstorms, and the peace that eventually comes. I have loved you more than I have loved the ones who have loved nobody more than me. I have loved you on the days when my heart was blooming and also on days when it was breaking. I have loved you with the kind of sincerity that can make anyone wonder what they have done to deserve a love like that. It was you who couldn't value it, any of it, and now I can't value it anymore. There was a time when you were the rain to my flowers. You learned the language of my soul. But today, we don't care about each other anymore. Today, you are like rain to my desert. We seldom meet. The flowers in my chest don't bloom anymore. Your sadness stopped the sunshine from entering your heart. So I walked in instead. I hope you let me stay. Some people enter your life to teach you that not everyone who extends a helping hand has their heart in the right place. I went to a store and a signboard said, "If you break something, consider it yours." Things have a way of belonging to you, even after you break them. the way I still belong to you despite everything. Love is in paying attention to the things that add sparkle to their eyes and tone their cheeks flamingo pink. Love is in ensuring you to do those things more often. Just because the darkness has stayed a little longer than you thought doesn't mean it's in love with you. You were made by the sun to add light to the world, not surrender to darkness and call it your home. You sleep with a book by your side and not a laptop. You water flowers instead of plucking them. You write poems in your journal instead of forwarding memes. You leave notes on the dining table instead of texting me good morning. You hold me close instead of checking your phone. You never finish a show alone. You still wonder why I'm in love with you when I know the stars would divorce the sky to marry you. You deserve to be loved the way the sun loves the earth. Someone who shows up every day and brightens your day without you having to ask for it. Someone who makes you believe that despite the storms and despite the rains, he will always come back to you. They will always stay. You have spent so much time hiding your heart and running away from yourself that whenever someone holds you gently, you cry. You said you loved me, but you did nothing to make me stay. I told you what others did to my heart, and you left me feeling exactly the same. It's tragic, isn't it? When someone new enters your life, you don't appreciate how much they love you, as much as you wonder if someday, just like everyone else, they will stop loving you too. It hurts me to think that it didn't hurt you when I left, that it, in fact, made you feel better. When my presence in people's life is a weight on their soldier, and no amount of love from my end can ever change that. I'm not the person you left behind, the one whose heart carried nothing but love for you, where there was no space for anyone new, because what they say is true. You can love someone with your whole heart and still leave them behind. Once you finally realize, ever since you gave them your heart, you have not been alright. My heart was the snow you buried your footprints in, and you are always with me even when you aren't. My favorite color will always be that of the sky before storms, that of my life before you. Letting go is hard when there is so much love inside you, dying to belong to them. The way a tear drops from both our eyes when it's time to say goodbye shows how the only thing keeping us away from pain is each other. When the world doesn't want to love you, I hope you don't stand with the world. There are jasmine flowers in your garden that bloom even on days when you are not around. Even when there is nobody present to appreciate them, your mother wears her favorite sari, even though your father never tells her she looks pretty. The world can refuse to love you, but may you never stop being the first person who makes you smile. I'm glad I didn't end up with you. I can't imagine my life without this person who has made all my dreams come true. When you enter a small cafe and everything there just smells like history, a past too replaced to be separated from its existence. There are tiny postcards kept on tables and old clocks hanging on the walls. I wonder how many lovers have entered this place before, held hands, madly in love with each other. You see, some places are like that. You can't help but write poems about them. They just refuse to leave your heart. When we are together, things can be out of place, but our hearts are always home. Loving me is like loving heartbreaks because that's what I'm made of. I carry my heart on my sleeves, and my soul dies to run in your direction, but I'm too scared of what loving you might do to me. You see, my heart protests against love, but also dies for it. With you, I was running and catching for breath, as you laughed at me, always closer to death than life. Without you, I'm the entire ocean, brimming with endless life. I have battered the art of leaving people, but I am yet to learn how to take my heart with me. You serve your heart to them on a platter once again, hoping they have changed. But the only thing that changes is the way they choose to crush your heart. The method changes, but the pain remains. It's going to rain tomorrow, my mom says, and it definitely rains the next day. Ma is good at predicting who is going to break my heart too, but I'm always too in love to listen. Loving the wrong person can feel like a storm to some, and when they cannot escape it, sometimes they end up spending their entire lives hopelessly waiting for the sun. Little love for yourself with a tapestry that decorate your heart. You know you don't want them in your life, but you still can't help but reach out to them. You send them that text. You call them on random days and you miss them anyway. You know, even if they came and put all the love in the world at your feet, you would still not want to be with them. They have hurt you enough to make you stop wanting them. But you just need enough distance to make you stop loving them too. My life with you was a half sunlit room. Your love always brought me darkness in equal measures as light, and the pain never fully left, so I did. In love, we must turn into flowers. Withering isn't a part of love, only blooming. I would sew a whole new sky if this one refused to let us fly together. I'd do anything to be with you. I will sit down one day and not use a semicolon to talk about us. I did use a full stop. I did accept that there is nothing more left to our story. Let me be the petals that adorn your soul and don't ask me to leave. The world finds us beautiful together and I'm terrified of being alone. I'm not ready, but it's time to leave you where you are and love myself as I am. I have lost countless summer trying to be the sun to your soul, but you have made me feel too terribly alone to ever regret leaving you alone. The happiest moment of my life were with you sleeping in my arms, eyes closed and hands wrapped around my waist. This is what my arms were made for. You see, holding you close to me and never letting you go. When you enter a bookstore and unexpectedly find that one book you have been looking for since forever, that smile that covers your face on seeing it, if the same smile doesn't cover their face whenever they look into your eyes, it's not worth it. It's not easy to say goodbye to someone who has stayed with you while you said the hardest goodbyes. When love breaks your heart, you go to your best friend, but when your best friend breaks your heart, you are left with nowhere to go. Seeing you with someone else still suffocates my heart. I want you to feel loved, but I don't want the courage to see your hands holding someone else when my fingers are dying to intertwine with yours. If I were a flower, you could see my petals fall apart, one at a time, seeing you look into his eyes. You cannot see my heart break, but that doesn't mean I'm alright. It's like you have swallowed mountains of pain and they are now a part of you. Why do your eyes have so much pain in them? Tell me. What do I do to take it all away? I have grown because of people I have grown apart from. I still love with my whole heart, but I no longer let loving someone leave me feeling lifeless. At the end of the day, the stars in the sky and the stars in my soul will continue to shine with or without someone. If you did let me, I did love you more than all the fictional character you are so deeply in love with. Pluck all the flowers in the world and turn them into an endless carpet for you to walk on. Case stars into boxes, gift wrap them, and send them to you. Love you in oceans and always fathom your depths. If you did lend me a little space in your heart, trust me, I did make a space for us in every literature textbook. There are poets dying to write about a love like ours. Let's make their wishes come true. I'm incredibly good at goodbyes, I told you, to convince myself that it won't hurt when you leave, to convince you that I'm not too madly in love with you to let you go. The person you are running towards has run out of love for you. You can run all you want, but that version of them doesn't exist anymore. And I know it hurts, but it's fine for you to stop loving them too. To find someone who isn't afraid of your storms, to find someone who always meant to be your son. Moving on isn't about learning to love someone else, it's about going about your day without thinking if that person is thinking about you. When feelings are floating inside, you remember that floors consume and break things. Don't let your heart to be one of them. You are not the light that guides people back home. You deserve to be the person who is someone's home, not a glimmer of hope to take them out of the dark, but a permanent place brimming with warmth for both of you to stay. Spending a even day without you terrifies me as if my life is a game of Jenga. and you are the only wooden block keeping me apart from falling. I'm learning to accept that falling is a part of my journey, but you are definitely not my destination, and I will let go of you. Even if that means having to start from scratches all over again. Someone can have the biggest heart but still refuse to make even a little space for you in it. They can be capable of loving someone enough to turn them into a Pablo Neruda poem, but not feel anything for you at all. You can love them enough to decorate your heart with everything they love, paint every inch of your soil with their favorite color, but they won't change how they feel about you. Sometimes people don't want to love, even when you believe there is nobody capable of loving them as intensely as you do. The truth is, there are some feelings you will always feel alone, and one day you will stop trying to make them feel the same way as you do and give your love to someone else, someone who knows how to value your heart. Remember that one breakup text you didn't send for the longest time because you cared about that person more than yourself. They were taking you for granted, but you didn't want to break their heart. You kept saving them as your expense until one day you decided to hit send and let it go, only for them to say that it was you who never cared about them. The people who love are often the ones who end up making you feel horrible about yourself. You were in fifth grade when that relative told you that your skin tone isn't ideal, you are not smart like your sister, and don't have much to offer. You were in seventh grade, and by that time, the message had been repeated so many times that you started believing it. That friend who jokingly told you that you cannot get dates and kept talking about how she, on the contrary, could get anybody she wants. You were at a wedding, and your father told you that outfit looked funny on you. Nobody talks about how difficult it is to love yourself when the people around you constantly make you feel unworthy. You may be the kindest person in the world, but that won't ensure the world is kind to you too. Self love doesn't come easily to most people, and in most cases, the people has nothing to do with it. It's the people around them that are responsible for the same. Funny how we love to hate the people who fail to love us back. What good is this heart if it cannot be with the person it beats for? You lose friends and you don't even notice it until you see an old photograph of you and them and realize that they are not in your life anymore. That friend who sat next to you every day in middle school, that friend whose landline number you still remember, friends with whom you played during the games period in school, friends you shared your lunch with, the one you invited to your birthday parties when you were little. It's strange how we just lose people over time, even the ones who were once the closest to us. Unrequited love is painful, but sometimes you make the pain grow deeper by not accepting that there are thousands of stars in the universe, but some stars just aren't yours to wish upon. Healing isn't about love as much as learning to deal with the absence of it. There is so much learning that takes place because of leaving, but there is so much loving one has to do before finally learning to leave. Waking up without you kills the sun in my soul. Only darkness is here to embrace me in your absence. Please come back home. Sometimes reminders of lost love would pelt you like a solid down power, and it would become tough to hold yourself together again. In such times, you will learn how even the most beautiful memories can grip you by the throat and strangle you. But you can still hold on to hope and go on to live because you are stronger than you think. This is the note to yourself. I have gotten better at saying goodbye ever since you left. Funny how someone who didn't have feelings for you can make you stop feeling too deeply for anyone ever again. Funny how someone you didn't want to let go of taught you how to be okay with watching people leave. You are so used to their presence that despite knowing it's been months since they told you they don't love you anymore, you wake up in the middle of the night hoping you will find them sleeping next to you. You miss their arms around your waist. It's been a while since they have pulled you closer to themselves, but you have never allowed your heart to be pulled away from them. You are not used to dreams anymore because sleeping without them is a nightmare nobody prepared you for. You want them to reach out to you, but you know they have moved on. You want them to see the love dying to slip through your fingertips and fall into their heart. You want them to know that every night hurts a little more than the previous one, and you don't know how many more nights you can afford to spend without them because it hurts too much to survive. What nobody tells you is that when you have to let go of someone you still have so much love for, it kills you from the inside. I may never find the kind of love you afford me, but I hope I find the kind of love I have always dreamed of having. The kind of love that was too much for you to give me. The kind of love that's greater than a bird loves for her wing. The kind of love that transcends everything you were too scared of. The kind of love that doesn't leave you yearning for more but ensures you have got a wide smile on your face every day. You told me that you loved me, but you couldn't ever love me the way I deserve to be loved. My heart can't belong to you if you choose to make it feel heavy on some days and lighter on others. My heart can't bloom in places where storms seldom stop and sun shines only when it's convenient. I have got a heart that has loved gentlemen for too long to settle for a love that makes me feel heavy. I'm afraid there was never space in your heart reserved for me. There was just a space, and you'd be okay with anybody else staying there too. Whenever I have fallen in love, it's been one sided. I have dated people, I have lived with them, I have spent Valentine's Day with them, and taken trips with them. But whenever I have fallen in love with them, it's been one sided. I have got the habit of always feeling more than the other person. I author my own pain by always giving out more than I ever receive. What terrifies me is the possibility of feeling so deeply for someone once again that I am physically incapable of not talking to them or reaching out to them despite knowing things are over. I don't want to feel the kind of love that ends with me trying to cope with seemingly endless autumn that I have almost died coping with before. I hate how now, whenever someone tells me that they love me, I tell them that they don't. I have started considering the word I love you as something people say to each other way too often without being certain if they are going to stay with each other. When there is too much sadness inside you, you try to go back to the source of your sadness because they were once your happiest place. Please don't go back to them. Reaching out to them will only water your sadness if it won't make it wither it away. Sometimes the person who used to be your happy place doesn't want you to be happy anymore, and you can't do anything about it other than slowly learning how to be happy alone. You have kept hundreds of books, movies, cassettes, old perfume bottles, and thousands of photographs. There is a room for so many things, but no space for me. You are capable of so much love, but you still choose not to love me. I did cry in front of you, and I did hug you, so I did stop. If you cared about me enough to hug me, why didn't you care enough to stop hurting me? When someone asks me what I'm most afraid of, it's not the things that have never happened, but the ones that I'm scared will happen again. Like my father not being nice to us, my relatives telling me all those things I wouldn't say to someone even if they broke my heart. Being loved and left again, crying silently, head buried in my pillows, nobody would figure out I'm in pain. I'm not scared of the unfamiliar, but of the things that have happened too many times to me to ever get over them. The intimacy of lying in bed together and doing nothing. There's music playing in the laptop, but we couldn't care less. Your head rests in their arms as if it's the only place it was meant to be. You realize you are not felt this safe since you were little. You realize this is all you have ever wanted, the comfort of being held by someone who you know won't hurt you. I love the question that begin with remember when? Remember when you were too drunk to even walk straight? Remember when I called you at 3 a.m. to ask about how you make your special noodles? Remember when we stayed up all night trying to find a movie but ended up rewatching episodes from our favorite sitcoms all over again? Such questions are proof that someone remembers us, that the memories we create with some people mean just as much to them as they mean to us, that they also cherish the bond we share. Girls, like you deserve picnic dates and kisses in toasty libraries, books wrapped in old newspaper with handmade bookmarks inside them. You deserve little flowers in your hair, and a lot of hope in your heart. Long walks on silent streets, dancing in the rain after the world has fallen asleep. Good morning, messages, and random I miss you text. Girls like you deserve love that turns you into the sky after rain. Don't settle for anything less. Boys like you deserve flowers and soft kisses on your cheeks, handwritten notes and snapshots on your refrigerators, coffee that's little too sweet, and pancakes with extra maple syrup. You deserve love in its softest form. Someone who holds your hand on busy streets, hug you on nights when you cannot sleep, and tell you you are going to be alright when life gets too overwhelming. Boys like you deserve love that feels like sunshine. Don't settle for anything less. If you enjoyed reading this book with me, please write to me to my email. Ta-da!